Hello and welcome to Green Hill Garage. In today's video, we're going to be working on our new project, which is our $500 Ford 640. It is a, I believe, 1956, if I ran the serial number correctly. The later models had this circle pattern in the foot pegs. The early patterns had a Ford 8-end style with the square pegs. So something there. It's got a Wagner loader on it. Car tires on the front, tiny little bucket, maybe only 4 feet wide. So it's got a really stout loader considering how small this bucket is. Circle tubing everywhere. We chained this up. We got this from our wreck yard about 3 days ago, and they said the engine ran, but there was something wrong in the rear end. When we pulled this off the trailer, it was making a bunch of popping noises, and oh, I guess I can't get this off. Anyway, I looked in here and I thought I saw broken gear. So my guess is this 640. Hunting around online, these 640s, apparently some of them did this where they break the ring gear. So the ring and pinion, the bearing goes out on the pinion, then the pinion isn't forced up against the ring gear very well. So it results in it coming loose and then breaking gears off. So we need to find another gear is my guess, but we won't really know what we need to turn to or what we need to order until we tear into it. But right now we're going to take it over, pressure wash it. These tires are actually really good on it, but the one thing I did notice is there's a crack down here. This tube is all the air is only held in by this cap. This was flat when we got it. As you can tell, it's losing air, so we need a tube in this tire at the minimum. I have another tire if we need it, but we'll go ahead, we'll pull this thing on down, start pressure washing it, and see what we find. Okay guys, so we got it all cleaned off. Now this tractor was originally 6 volt, I believe, and it's been converted over to 12 volt. It's got a, whatchamacallit, it's got a solenoid that someone else put in aftermarket. It's got a resistor to step down the power for this coil. I believe this is the original coil and distributor. Not sure if this thing turns over as of yet. We're gonna hitch up a battery though, see if it does. This tractor came with keys too, so that was nice. As you can see, 12 volt alternator has already been installed. A whole bunch of wiring up in here has been installed. So that's nice that someone's already gone to all that trouble. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't, then these tractors are really easy to work on as far as wires, just because there's not that many. Somebody had lights going out here at one point, and then I don't believe these lights have been converted. I don't see any sign that they have been converted. So these lights are disconnected, so I'm guessing they never did convert it. They had a 1 1/8 inch PTO from the factory, and everything is standard at 1 3/8. So they've already put an adapter on it. That's nice. 3-point hitch arms, they're not even bent. A lot of these get bent, as you can tell by how thin they are. This thing's all weighted down. It's got these inner wheel weights. These things, they must weigh a ton. I have no clue exactly how much. My guess is somewhere around the 400 or 500 pound mark each. And then that other wheel, both of these wheels had calcium. This one, since it had a leak, lost most of its calcium. But at one point, these both had calcium chloride in them, and they were heavy. So someone was really going to town using this tractor as a loader tractor. So we'll get the battery hitched up. The hour meter, I'm almost certain, has either rolled over or been replaced. It looks newer than the other gauges. I'm not certain if it is new or if it's the original, it's just rolled over. If it's rolled over, that means we've crossed 10,000 hours at some point, and that's a lot of hours. So what else? Temperature gauge still there, oil gauge still there. That thing, that's trash, I could just tell. So we'll need to get some new gauges. Throttle appears to be working, it's not stuck. Transmission went into every gear, so I'm almost certain it's something to do with that ring gear back there. We've got just your standard hydraulics on Fords, they're just like the 8N. And I'm not 100% certain if this tractor has a live PTO or not. My guess is being a 640, it doesn't. I can't tell on the clutch. The way these Fords engaged a live PTO, if they had one, was it would be a two-step clutch. So the first part of the clutch would stop forward motion, and the second step would stop forward motion and the PTO. The way that this feels, I'm guessing this is not a live PTO tractor. Fluids looked good when I first looked at this tractor. I looked pretty clean, that differential fluid. But if there's broken off teeth, then of course we're draining it. Oil looked okay. It was dark, but it's still oil. Didn't have any water in it. Checked the coolant reservoir on this thing, and you could still see it was wet, but it had started to run out. And then these hoods. The nice thing about this tractor is sheet metal. I mean, it's got some rust on it, but there isn't hardly a dent on this sheet metal. This is some of the best sheet metal I've seen in a while on a scrap tractor. So what else is I gonna tell you guys? We'll pop this hood open here. Got a big old gas tank. I haven't been able to get this gas cap open. Got that open. Like I said, there was some fluid in it, but it was really low. So it either has a leak somewhere or it's burning it. And we'll find out here in a moment. So I'll get that battery hitched on and we'll see what happens. So guys, I went ahead and got this battery in. I turned this motor over with the fan, just using the belt and pulling on it, and that worked pretty well. So it's broken loose, this tractor motor, and stuck. Usually out here we don't get motors that'll just stick on their own unless there was a rain cap or something that was missing and water gets down the exhaust or the intake. So that's nice. The tractor motor's not stuck. So now we're gonna go ahead, turn on the key, and see if this thing will crank. Okay, nothing yet. Give this key a twist. Okay, so motor cranks over. It sounds marginally healthy. I don't hear any like one cylinder down from the others. So we'll go ahead, guys. I'll pull a spark plug and we'll see if we have spark. Okay guys, this is the number 4 spark plug. As you can tell, this motor was running pretty fat, so we're gonna go ahead. We'll clean up all these plugs. I'll just wire wheel them, but we know that we were running rich, so when we get to the carburetor, we'll have to keep that in mind that we were running rich. So I'll clean these up and then we'll get back to finding some spark. Okay guys, I got the spark plug here. Got it somewhat grounded. Let's see if I can get it a little better. There we go. We'll see if we can get that to ground. Turn the key over. I'm seeing it sparking elsewhere, so let me wipe that spot off. There we go. Let's see if we can get some spark now. Okay, I got sparks coming from somewhere else. So we have spark, but I think the insulation's just worn out on that spark plug wire, so it's jumping. So I'll clean this up, guys, and then we'll see if we can't get a better video. Okay guys, so that we'll see if I can turn this over and catch that spark on camera. Okay, I think you can see my camera's having a hard time focusing, but basically, yeah, let's see if I can get. Yep, there's a spark. So we've got spark. It's really good news. I hate diagnosing wiring issues, but doesn't look like we'll have too many wiring issues to worry about this time. So I'll go ahead, I'll clean up those other spark plugs, and we'll put it together and then spray a little carburetor cleaner and see if she lights off. Okay guys, so I got this carburetor. We went ahead, I pulled the plug and it was actually dry, so whoever had this last was smart. They drained out, or they pulled the plug and drained the carburetor. I went ahead, I flushed out, there wasn't anything in the tank either, so they drained everything. I cleared out the sediment bowl, everything flows good. We just filled up the carburetor bowl and started to drip out, and I just tapped it with a mechanic's hammer and the float came right up. So we're gonna go ahead and crank it over, guys, and see if this thing will start. gauge on the oil pressure is not reading, so that's why I shut it down. I'm not sure if it's the gauge broken, but I don't want to risk it. But overall, it sounded like it was running pretty good. I did notice we had that black smoke, and I'll bring it around here on you guys. This pipe here is actually bent, and I think this pipe may be the reason that we have a running rich. I think it's kind of pinched down. Not 100% certain, but I believe that could be the cause. So it fired up and ran, guys. That's pretty impressive. So I'll go ahead, I'm going to check the oil pressure gauge, and then we'll see if we can fire it up again, run it for a little longer, and see if our hydraulics work. Okay guys, we got the oil figured out. We do have oil pressure. Our line was just pinched down there, so that's why there's nothing reading. So we'll go ahead, fire it back up. PTO live? No, PTO is not live. Well, there we go, guys. Thing fired up and ran really good, actually. Still running rich, so that's something we're going to need to address on the carburetor. I'm going to leave this loader up because we got to pull it. The transmission, from what I can tell, I think that rear gear is still the issue. I put it in gear, but I decided I didn't want to release the clutch all the way out to find out just how bad it was. But it's been making a clanking noise back there when we roll it. So I'm guessing something's really chewed up.
It's not good.
Not good at all. So I left this hose disconnected. This comes off the air filter. I just want to be sure when we were running it we didn't flood. I've had that happen on TO30 and 8N before, where if you leave this thing connected and it floods, then it will fill up and go into the cylinders. We'd hate to hydrolock this motor, but it sounds like it's running really good, guys. I don't hear any compression issues or anything like that. It's a little smoky. I think part of that though is just fuel. So we're gonna need to adjust the carburetor. That'll be the next step. But it sounds like we have a really solid platform on the front end of this tractor. So I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna end the video here. The next time you see this tractor, we're gonna have this rear end. We're gonna be tearing it apart and figure out where that sound is coming from. But so far, $500 salvage tractor. It seems like it's been, so far, a success. So stay tuned for part 2. Stick around for that. Check out our other content. We've got more videos coming up with the Mule. Mule blew a head gasket recently, so we're going to be doing an in-depth series on how to replace head gaskets on one of those. And other than that, guys, we've got just lots of cool content, so go check it out. Leave a like, hit us up and subscribe. We really appreciate it. So you all, thank you all for watching, and you all have a great day.